And hello and welcome to the kitchen. Today we are making something by popular demand. People are always amazed I make this. But today we are making butter. Butter is super easy, super simple. And you know what? I have a firm theory. You make it at home, it's going to be healthier for you. Because you're not eating the extra chemicals and the extra salt that the companies put in to preserve them. So at any rate, it's real hard. You might want to get a piece of paper out and a pencil and write down all the ingredients. Look, this is the ingredient. It's actually heavy whipping cream. Easy breezy. This is about 32 ounces. And I'll tell you a little quick story. I'm actually using a vintage mixer that a friend of mine's mother had, and she gifted it to me. So I sometimes love to use vintage pieces of equipment in the kitchen that still work. And this one works beautifully. So at any rate, another story. The glass bowl, I love thrifting and I love flea markets and yard sales and stuff like that, because that saying goes, one man's junk is another man's treasure. This bowl, I had actually looked on the original company, and this bowl was like a $95 bowl. And I was like, I don't want to pay $95 for this bowl. And it had an original stainless steel bowl on it. And I wanted a clear glass bowl so I could see into it a little better. I was at a thrift store and I looked on the bottom shelf of this thrift store shelf, back in the kitchen stuff, and just lots and lots of stuff. And I saw this part of it, just the rim. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a tall tea pitcher or something. And I pulled it out, and it's actually the one that fits this perfect. I got it for $4.50. So at any rate, never pass up a good bargain. Anyway, we're into the vintage mixer. We're going to put heavy whipping cream. The secret with heavy whipping cream is you let it come to room temperature, because when it's room temperature, when you put it in, it actually processes and the cream or the butter separates from it. So put your heavy whipping cream in and try not to spill it on yourself. And this is super easy. You're going to be making this at home from now on. You will never buy butter out of the grocery store again. Then put your beater down in, lock the top down, turn it on, and let it go. We'll see you in a moment. Hey, we're back for just a second. This is typically, if I want to make a topping for a dessert, this is typically where I can add some powdered sugar to it. It's already delicious. I always say when it starts to make a mess, that's when it's made butter. See how it's separated? We've got buttermilk and butter. So now we're going to show you how to actually get the buttermilk out of the butter. Okay, this is the part that's a little bit tricky, and so many people who make butter do this so many different ways. See, this is the buttermilk that you've actually separated from the butter. From the fat, actually. So what I typically do is I take my spatula. You can do this with your hands if you want, but some people are iffy about putting their hands in food. You know, our grandparents did it all the time, so I'm a little bit of that school. So I separate as much as I can my big glob of fat, my butter, from the buttermilk. And I do this several times. I just take it and I squeeze it. As if you notice, when you squeeze it, actually the butter and the milk is still separating. So get your first good squeeze out, and then we're going to pour the content of this off into another vessel. Okay, I have poured that liquid out of it. I've poured the buttermilk out of it. And as you see, I still have a lot of liquids. And so as if you squish this, and like I said, you can do this with your hand also. Some people choose to do it with their hand. And like I said, a lot of people have different methods of doing it. I just utilize the bowl, the side of the bowl, and I squish as much, keep squishing and more of that buttermilk, because you want to get as much of that buttermilk out of it, because the more the milk that you get out of the butter, the longer your butter will actually last for you. So now that we've squeezed most of the liquid out of it, I'm now going to take this big clump of butter over to the sink, and we're going to rinse it and squeeze it just a little bit more. This is when I use my hands. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rinse. I always suggest rinsing this in cold water, because you know what happens when you add heat. butter. It just melts on you. So squeeze and rinse. Squeeze and rinse. Squeeze and rinse. Some people even do this in a ice bath. Oh, I'm slinging butter already, so that tells me that even my cold water is a little too warm. So at any rate, there's our butter. Butter couldn't be any simpler and healthier for you, making it at home. We made butter and we made buttermilk. I always save this buttermilk and use it for baked goods and cornbread, even use it in mashed potatoes. So make yourself some butter and impress your family. See you in the kitchen.